Hi guys, I'm John from Switchbird. Now let's say that you are already sold on the idea of a smart messaging inbox for your business, like the one you see here, where you have all of your customer conversations in here, nicely organized and searchable and filterable, and you've got access to tools for sending, ready-made sales and nurture sequences, frequently asked questions, automations to gather feedback, features like, texting back missed or after hours calls and that kind of thing, right? Like all the things we do at Switchbird, you want, and that with Switchbird, we transparently use Twilio as our telephony provider. So if I look at the numbers set up for this inbox, you can see you're getting them from Twilio via Switchbird, and we're just passing through the very reasonable usage costs, the wholesale usage costs from Twilio. So unlike many other SMS providers or voice providers in the software space, we are not middlemen who mark up what is essentially a commodity. We just pass through the cost to you. Now that's great, but there are scenarios, and what I want to talk about here are those cases where you still may want to bring your own Twilio account, right? So you can bring your own accounts for Twilio, CallRail, call tracking metrics currently. We'll look at Twilio because it's becomes a question for some of our customers. Well, we're using Twilio through Switchbird. Why would we want to bring our own Twilio account? Now, this comes up in really two scenarios. One is the business owner who simply wants control, right? Like you want your numbers in your own Twilio account that you have control over. You port them in, you port them out. Switchbird has access to them while you're using Switchbird, but other than that, they are completely under your control. The other scenario is for our agency and reseller partners who might put our software under their own brand and domain and resell it to clients. They're charging clients for software and services, right? And those clients are also going to be racking up usage charges for voice and SMS. Now, they could easily pass through those costs to their client. They could mark up those costs and pass them through to their client. That's a common industry practice. Or what we've seen work nicely is to have agencies set up Twilio accounts for their clients. And the advantage of this is sort of the total transparency of it, right? So you bill your clients for software and services, what your agency provides, and they get a separate bill from Twilio for their usage, what is essentially, like I said, a commodity that is just the cost of doing business. They're getting, a smaller bill from you that way, right? And are less likely to look at it askance and can kind of evaluate it from a value standpoint without thinking about the cost of the volume of usage and all of that, which can just be a totally separate matter that comes to them in a separate invoice from a separate company from Twilio. And that's where you might want to drop in the account SID and auth token from a new Twilio account for that client. And so you can do that here in an existing inbox, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take you through the process, kind of soup to nuts here, and show you really how easy it is and how we really try to facilitate, this kind of relationship among, any other kind of flexible relationship you want to have. So let's look at that. If we go here to our new inbox, right? This is a trial user inbox. In fact, let me sign out and sign back in so that I have the right credit here. I feel like I might get logged out. There we go. And when we go to create our new inbox, I'll just skip through these steps here and just company Acme. I won't put in a logo for now, just skip through to where I might set up this inbox with a phone number. I can grab that phone number from Twilio through Switchbird, right? This will buy the number right here. I can narrow it down by area code, etc. Search their inventory, pick a number, and go forth. Or I can bring my own, right? And here are those familiar Twilio credentials that we need: the account SID and auth token. And so how do we do this? This is where we would essentially be connecting the client's Twilio account and separating their telephony usage from our software, even though the two are going to be working together harmoniously. So let's look at how we would set the client up with that. You just want to pop over to Twilio.com and click the sign up button to start a free trial. They ask very little information to start the trial, and I think the trial gives you some allowance of usage, and to essentially go from a trial account to a paid account, you simply have to put a credit card on file and load up some amount of credit. So as little as $10 or $20. So I think I loaded $20 on here, used 9 cents, sending a few messages. But that's all that's really entailed in creating a Twilio account. And you see right here from the dashboard, I have my account SID and auth token that I would use to connect this account to Switchbird. But before I do that, let's just look at a couple of things you'll want to do when you create that new account at Twilio, depending on the scenario you're trying to support, right? So one might be kind of a straight up scenario where you're going to just buy some new numbers, right? And you can see I've got some numbers I've bought in here. I can very easily buy numbers through Twilio, and in fact, they give me some more advanced tools than we can provide via the API to do things like search for vanity numbers, right? So if we want to have a number that ends in our company name of Acme, right? Here we go. We've got a whole bunch of inventory here. We could get 772, 758 Acme, what have you. We can also search, toll frees and the rest of it. So it would be very easy to just, buy any of these that we want. We just want to make sure they have the capabilities we need, which pretty much all of them do: voice, SMS, MMS, and we're good to go. Now, another scenario might be where you're porting numbers in to Twilio, right? And this comes up especially in those cases where either you yourself as a business owner or your client really wants control over a number that maybe they've had for 10 years. They can port that number directly into their own account, and it remains kind of completely under their control. This is a process that takes some time, 2 to 4 weeks. I've seen it take quite a bit less than that, usually a week or two. But basically, all you need to do to get that port underway is agree to the terms, fill out the details of the request, which just include a physical address for you and your business, the numbers that you want to port, and then essentially 3 documents. One is a letter of authorization that you can download and attach here, simple PDF. One is what's called a CSR, customer service record, which is something you get from the existing provider that says, what the number is and who owns it. And the third is a recent billing statement, so a recent, invoice essentially from the current provider. Those are all the documents you need. You submit that port request, you get a support ticket open with Twilio, and it basically runs from there. The carriers shake hands and set a port date, and when that port comes through, it is here under your active numbers. You can also have Twilio host SMS for, let's say, a landline number. So maybe you have a scenario where you don't want to completely port a number over to our software. Instead, you simply want to take advantage of the texting capabilities on a number that is otherwise a landline or tied to your PBX voice system or whatever it is. You can do a similar type port request for what they call SMS hosting. That's even easier to do. I won't go through it here, but it's a lesser lift and just involves answering a robocall with the right PIN number so that they know you own the phone number, and then signing like a HelloSign document, and boom, that number becomes SMS hosted, and again shows up here in active numbers. So you see we've got 3 active numbers here today. If we go back to our dashboard and we grab our credentials here, we should see, so let's see here, that if I put these credentials in, there we go, we found our account. And now, let's see, no phone numbers found. Doesn't seem right. Hold on one second. Let me pause this and troubleshoot. Okay, sorry about that. That just wasn't working because I was in a trial that wasn't yet approved. But now we're seeing that our account is connected and we've got access to, you see 2 numbers here. Now I had 3 in the account, but 1 was spoken for. It was already configured. These 2 have not been configured yet, so they're ready to go. So I'll connect this 732 number. I'll set up call deflection, and I will forward voice calls, let's say, to our existing business line, right? So whatever it is. And that should be good enough to get us started here. And it is. So you see now I've got a new inbox. I'm using my own Twilio number that lives separate from Switchbird. And in fact, I can bring in multiple such numbers should I want to. I can mix them with numbers that I buy through Twilio. But you can see that my own Twilio account here is now connected, and I could continue to add to that, right? So that other number in my inventory I could add as well. Buy more numbers on the Twilio side, bring them in here as needed, and like I said, get all of the benefits of our software now on your existing or new Twilio numbers. So you want to record calls, you want to set them up for HP10DLC registration, you want to bring them into a smart messaging dashboard like this. You can do it. It's all that easy. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. Let me know if you have questions.